Ahora sí que mucho gusto a todos igual en línea. Mi nombre es Neus, soy poblana de toda la vida, como tal, no sé si me oyeron. Estudié hotelería y he trabajado en hoteles toda mi vida. Bueno, menos los últimos 3 años que he estado trabajando con Yummy Jobs. Terminando mi carrera hice mis prácticas en España, en el W, no sé si han oído de él. Terminé mis prácticas y yo quería trabajar por un hotel en Disney y estaba muy insistente en eso. Entonces, cuando regresé, me contacté con un hotel que se llama Walt Disney World Swan and Dolphin, que es parte de Marriott. Me contacté con ellos y me recomendaron Yummy Jobs. Entonces, yo, sin pensarlo 2 veces, me fui a hacer otras prácticas ya graduada. La ventaja de esas prácticas que te pagan en Estados Unidos, entonces es una gran ventaja. Y conocí lo que es Yummy Jobs, ahí conocí obviamente un grupo de amigos nuevo, en ellos está Mark, y terminando mi programa me mudé a Londres, donde está la empresa, pero seguí trabajando en hotelería. Y después, unos años después, me contrataron para abrir los programas en México. Y llevo 3 años en eso. Y al fin llegué a la Salle. Bueno, nuestro enfoque principal es Disney, trabajamos con Disney de la mano, como Sander lo ha dicho, para Reino Unido, y trabajamos con la visa J1 para la parte de las carreras de turismo, como gastronomía, hotelería, etcétera, 6 meses y 1 año. Sin embargo, este año llegamos más lejos y abrimos los programas de verano, que ya llevamos como 20 años trabajando con ellos, a México, finalmente. Y es de lo que les vamos a hablar, porque como dice Sander, se abren a todas las carreras y es en Universal Orlando. Entonces trabajarían dentro de los parques. Mark les va a explicar un poquito más sobre las funciones, etcétera. Pero no quiero compararlo con el de Disney, pero sí es más o menos, o sea, similar. Obviamente son compañías totalmente diferentes. El programa es diferente en sí, pero la experiencia de trabajar en un parque de diversiones como alguno de ellos es única. Mark les puede contar su experiencia, ha trabajado en los dos, tanto en Disney como en Universal, y, y son experiencias únicas. Como, bueno, para los que no estuvieron en la sesión pasada, como dijo Sander, yo personalmente que he tenido experiencias internacionales, aprovechenla. O sea, ya sea con nosotros o con quien quieran, pero no todas las universidades ofrecen cosas como estas, y sí, como persona y como profesional les ayudan mucho a crecer. Entonces, aprovechenlas cuando puedan. No tiene que ser en este verano. Si tienen chance y se gradúan todavía el año que entra, tienen chance de ahorrar, etcétera. Pero les vamos a presentar lo que les traemos si les interesa. Y si tienen preguntas en español, en inglés o en cualquier idioma. Gracias, Andrea. Do you want to introduce yourself, Mark?
Yes, absolutely. So, hi everyone. My name is Mark. I'm the Vice President of Operations with Yummy Jobs. I actually started with the company about 7 years ago now. And I should say I am from Scotland, so I speak with quite a thick accent. So if anybody is struggling to understand me, that's okay. Please just raise your hand, and I've got my translator here for me. So my journey actually started very much like yourselves. I was a student back home in Glasgow in Scotland. And I needed to do a placement as part of my degree. So a lot of my friends were already working within the industry, had part-time jobs, so they continued that. But I really wanted to use that opportunity to do something a little bit different, really challenge myself. I was a very shy student at school. I really didn't like any attention on me. So I wanted to try and take that opportunity to dive in at the deep end and do something very different whilst I had the opportunity. So when I was younger, I was a big fan of theme parks. Every opportunity I had, I was heading down to the local parks in the UK, around Europe. I was very fortunate to go to Orlando with my family, fascinated by everything that was theme parks. So I took the opportunity. I went home one night, started Googling different opportunities that I could do for the summer, and then I stumbled across the Yummy Jobs website. Yummy Jobs are the official partner for the UK to be able to provide programs in Walt Disney World. So we are what are called a procurement ally. So we do all of the sourcing for talent in the UK, and we send hundreds of students out to Walt Disney World every single summer. So I submitted an application through Yummy Jobs. Didn't think I would ever get through. Somehow I managed it, and I ended up spending the summer of 2009 working in the Magic Kingdom in Orlando, Florida. I was selling outdoor food carts. So I was on the food cart selling like popcorn, churros, water, things like that. And it was the best summer ever. Really, again, challenged myself. Um, Again, diving into the deep end really and really trying to immerse myself into the hospitality industry and everything that was to come from it. So that summer was fantastic. I then wanted to go back again the following summer. So even though it wasn't part of my course, I just wanted to go back to Orlando. So in the summer of 2010, I was part of the grand opening team for the Wizarding World of Harry Potter at Universal Orlando. So that was really cool for me to be part of that opening experience. Again, I was working outside, which being from Scotland in the summer heat in Orlando was very, very difficult, but I survived. And I was selling butterbeer whilst I was out there as well. So that was really cool. Again, fantastic summer. I worked under some amazing leadership and met a lot of friends whilst I was out there. I will not bore you with my entire journey because I've actually done 5 separate programs in the USA, also working for SeaWorld, working for Marriott, and then actually going back to Disney again for a second time. So that's been my journey. I'm very fortunate and I feel very privileged to be stood here talking to you about these opportunities because they're very close to my heart and really help me develop in my own career. So hopefully some of the information that we share with you today will inspire you to think about these opportunities, whether it's now, whether it's possibly later down the line with your careers. But if you have any questions, please let us know. And likewise, I think you mentioned on the chat, please do let us know. But we'll try and cover as much information as we possibly can today without going too far into the detail. Perfect. So Yummy Jobs, just to give you a very quick overview of who we are. We've been around now. We're actually celebrating our 25th anniversary. And so started our partnership with Walt Disney World. They're still our biggest partner today. But since then, we've added on a lot more. And so we have now obviously Universal that we're going to talk about today. We also work with Marriott, everything from large scale resorts in the US, from the beaches in Florida to small boutique locations out in California, up in the mountains of North Carolina, and everything in between really. And the goal for us is that we want to make sure that we're supporting your career. So we're quite different to a lot of other companies who do what we do, in the sense that you don't pay an application fee and we don't hold a bank of CVs. So you go on our website, you select the program that you're most interested in, you apply for it, and then only once you've been offered and accepted your place would we actually start to invoice for the program fee and the visa sponsorship and things like that. So I'll talk more about that as we go through, but the point I'm trying to make just now is that we're here to support you. That is our role. That's how we see ourselves in this process. We help you get your visa, we help you with your placement on the program, and we help you with housing. The rest is up to you to decide what you want to do with your career. So hopefully that's Universal Orlando. We're here to convince you on that today. But yeah, perfect. So telling you about the program. So the program is going to be running over the summer. So from the end of May through to mid-August is the date that we have for Mexico. We actually have 3 separate arrival groups going out for the summer. So we've got some starting in early May, which is a group coming from Canada and from Colombia. We then have the Mexican group, and then the third group is from the United Kingdom. So those are the 4 different countries that we're working with for this summer. We do actually have a group out there at the moment from Costa Rica who are there until March as well. But it's going to be a very, very big program for us this summer. Does anybody know why? Does anyone know what's happening at Universal in May? No?
I think there is a new park.
Absolutely right, yeah. So Universal are about to open up their 3rd park, Epic Universe. So they've got, currently at the moment, they've got 2 theme parks and a water park. So this will be their 3rd dry land park, their 4th park in total. But it's a really exciting time because on May 22nd, so right around the time that you guys will be starting your program, this brand new theme park is about to open up. 4 new areas. So they have an area themed around Harry Potter. They've got a How to Train Your Dragon section, Nintendo World, and then a dark universe as well with some of the Universal classic monsters and things like that. So it's a really, really cool time to be joining the Universal company because you'll be out there at the time for that opening as well. So that's what we are working towards. At the moment, the positions we're looking at are going to be in the original parks. The reason for that, I don't know if anybody has ever worked in an opening of a hotel or a restaurant or anything. You can plan as much as you possibly want. There's always going to be some challenges with opening it. So we thought best thing for this program is to be able to have the students head out into the original parks where we know the process, everything flows smoothly. That might change as we get closer to the arrival date and closer to the program starting. you might end up picking up some shifts out there. You might even get based out there as well. But at the moment, it looks like the original two parks at Universal Studios and Universal's Island of Adventure. So, yes, yeah, absolutely. So you'd be based in Volcano Bay as well, which is the water park out there. There's two different program types that we're looking at. So it's either food and beverage, or it's going to be park services. So I'll tell you a little bit more about those two different roles. Food and beverage, as you can imagine, is the program that I done. It is working either within the quick service fast food carts. It could be working in the quick service restaurants, or it could be in some of the full service restaurants that they have within the parks and resorts as well. Park services, if anyone is aware of the kind of terminologies that Disney use, that is essentially a custodial position. So what will happen in park services is you'll be in charge of maintaining the area to make sure that it is show ready, everything is clean and presented. So when you're out there, you might get assigned to an area of Jurassic Park, for example, and then your job is to make sure that your assignment area is clean at all times. A big part of that role is guest interaction. So you'll be speaking to guests on a constant basis, giving them directions to the Hulk roller coaster, giving them directions to the nearest restaurants, bathrooms, things like that as well. So it's a very intensive guest-facing role in park services. Similarly in quick service food and beverage, but again, it's a little quicker turnover when you're in that role. So as I mentioned, you'll be out there for the duration of the summer, and we'll talk a little bit about the housing in just a few moments, but you're guaranteed a minimum of 32 hours per week whilst you're out there in Orlando. So that is there to safeguard you. Typically what will happen is you'll be working around 40. Obviously it's going to be a very busy time, so you might even be working more than 40 some weeks, but you will work a minimum of 32 whilst you're out there. It's a visa regulation, and like I said, that is there to protect you, to make sure that these companies in the US are not just bringing international students out and only using them to plug holes. This is a proper work program. It's a proper internship program where you will be expected to work whilst you're out there and expected to earn some money as well. So that's what that looks like. Anything that you work over 40 hours will be paid at time and a half as well. So there's an opportunity, if you do get scheduled some overtime, to make a little bit extra money whilst you're out there. I mentioned the different programs that we have going on with the various different countries this year. So Mexico will be its one arrival group, but we do have applications from all across the country. So again, a great opportunity to expand your network, make some new friends whilst you're out there. On top of that, you will also be mixing at the same time with the people from the UK, from Colombia, and also from Canada, as well as the people who are permanently based in Orlando as well, so the US citizens. You are paid whilst you're out there. It's a fully paid program. So whilst you are out there, both positions pay $17 per hour. So you'll be earning that, like I said, over the course of the summer. And then anything over that 40 hours, of course, is time and a half as well. You're paid on a weekly basis. So that will just go straight into your bank account once you're out there. You do get a pay card once you arrive. However, as part of the arrival process, Yummy Jobs are there to guide you through the entire thing. So myself and News will actually be in Orlando over the summer to make sure you guys are settling in, get you into your housing, get your social security number whilst you're in the US, set you up with bank accounts, all of the important stuff, and all of the boring stuff. So our goal really is to make sure that you don't have to worry about the boring stuff, so that you can focus on the things that matter, which is your work, your training out there, and obviously having a great time on your program as well. So that's really our role in all of this. You will hear from us through the entire process. So from today, where we first meet you, through the application process, through the visa application process, then like I said, once you're actually in Orlando, we'll be there with you. And then our team are available for the entire duration of your program in Orlando as well. So if you have any questions, anything about US taxes, anything about housing, you can just let us know and we'll be there to make sure that you've got that support as well. On top of that, you do also have support from the visa sponsor. So they'll be with you every step of the way as well. They have a 24 hours a day, 7 days a week helpline that you can call. Your work, your employer as well. You've got HR over there if you have any questions about work. And then you'll have a leader with your housing as well. So that's really what the program looks like. Housing. So one of the other big things to consider whilst you're out in Orlando is where you're going to live, right? So the good news is that we do support with that. So there are two options that you have. If you know somebody out there and you are comfortable self-sourcing, you are allowed to find your own housing out in Orlando. If you don't know anyone out there, I'll be very honest, it is very, very difficult to try and find affordable accommodation in Orlando that has good transport networks and can get you to and from work. As you can imagine, because it's such a popular tourist destination, the cost of living is very, very high there. Similar, I'd imagine, to Mexico City in the sense that you pay a lot more than you probably would in other areas of the country. So you can go out and do that if you want. What we will need to do is make sure that we vet wherever you're going to stay. So if you're staying in a villa or you're staying with somebody, there are some steps that we need to go through. And really that's just making sure that you're safe whilst you're out there. So we do that in partnership with the visa sponsor to make sure we tick all those boxes, make sure we're checking everything thoroughly so that you are safe and secure whilst you're out there. The second option is to go through Yummy Jobs. So we have a housing partner. It's actually part of Yummy Jobs company itself. So it's a wing of what we do. And all they're responsible for is making sure that housing is provided. So whether that's in Orlando for this program, we also have it in Nashville, we've got it all over the US. But what they do is they try and source the best accommodation for you. We use the fact that we've got so many participants coming out to try and negotiate the best rates for where you're going to be staying. And making sure that, again, everything that is safe and secure has good transport links and so on. The good news is that we have already sourced our housing for the summer. So we've been doing this program for a number of years now, and we've previously been using, it's called an extended stay, which is a long stay hotel.
I think that's what I told Sander, because these are news from yesterday. So Mark is going to talk about a new housing.
Yes.
But better one.
Yeah, it's very similar. So we've been running this program, like I said, for a long time now. And previously what was happening is students were going into a place called Extended Stay America. It was great, but the buildings were quite old, and we kind of felt there was a time for a change there. So the fact this program is bigger now gave us a little bit more leverage to be able to go into some of the other hotels in the area and talk about the program. And we've been able to identify one that we feel is a big upgrade actually on the last few summers. So we're very, very excited to be able to announce it. And that will be happening on our social media over the next few days. But we do have exclusive first sight for you guys that will show you a few pictures in just a few moments. So it is similar to extended stay in the sense that it is a hotel that is designed for people who are going out to stay a little bit longer than normal. So the housing, what that means for you is that you will have a microwave, you'll have a toaster, you'll have a fridge in your room, and a few other amenities as well that I'll kind of talk about in a few moments. But the idea is that we want it to be a place that you can go and put your head down at night, a place where you can come back to and socialize with your friends. But we know that there's no point paying for these fancy hotels for the limited time that you'll actually spend in there. If you're not at work, what we find is most of our participants are in the parks, using their guest access to go on the rides and things like that. So that's what the accommodation looks like. We still need to confirm the exact rent cost with you, but I can tell you it's somewhere around $200 per week. We do have an upfront payment that you can kind of pay to start, which brings it down to that 200. If you don't want to pay that prepayment, then it's somewhere around 260, 270 per week, which again, it sounds like a lot, but once you're working full time, very, very affordable. It is shared accommodation, so you'll be going in there and sharing most of the hotel actually with other people who are on the Yummy Jobs program, and it's 3 people per room. So there's 2 main double beds. And then there is one, it's like a sofa bed, but that's probably not doing it justice. It's very, very comfortable. And that is the room as well. So that's kind of what that looks like. The facilities that are involved with it, again, I'll talk about that in a little moment once we show the pictures, but there is a pool. So you have a pool whilst you're there. There is a hot tub jacuzzi area, a sun deck. And we also have exclusive use of one of the meeting rooms that are in the hotel as well. So that if you want to come down and socialize or just sit down and take a few moments with your friends, then you can do that there as well. One of the other big perks with this housing that we didn't have previously is that you'll get a hot buffet breakfast every single morning that is included in your rent. So whether you're working that morning, you can go down early and make use of that. Or if you have a day off, then you can still head down a little bit later in the day as well. They also have access to 24/7 tea and coffee. And then there are some kind of cooking facilities as well whilst you're there. So in the main kind of lobby area, we're setting up some additional cooking areas for you to come down and make some food as well. On top of that, as we talk about food and your access to that, the location is fantastic because you're surrounded by some restaurants, some bars, and some stores as well. So if you want to pop down to Walgreens and pick up some things for your room, for the microwave, and for the toaster, you can do that. But you also have access to Miller's Ale House, which is like a restaurant, a sports bar there, and a few others as well. So you're certainly not short of places to try and find food. And there's also a Walmart just down the road as well if you fancy doing a little bit of a bigger shop. Inside the hotel, they do also have a miniature store as well. Not so much a store as like a little kind of canteen where you can pick up just standard things, bottles of water, Coca-Cola, things like that. But you do have access to that as well. The really great thing about this hotel and this location is that it is within walking distance to the parks, to your work location, and to the team member entrance. So you don't have to worry about trying to get on a bus every morning. You don't have to worry about paying for Ubers or buying a bike or anything like that. You can actually walk to and from your work location. So really great in that respect. On your days off, there is also a shuttle that runs 3 times per day from the hotel that will take you to the guest entrance for Universal Orlando Resort. So you're more than welcome to be able to use that as well. It's a little bit trickier if you're working that day because you're not allowed to go through the park to get to your work location. So you'd have to go to the guest entrance and then walk around. But that is an option for you as well whilst you're there. So that's really what the hotel looks like. If you don't mind moving us on to the next one, Sander. This is what the hotel looks like. So this is, it's a comfort suites. Like I said, you guys are the very first people to be able to see this. We have not shared this with anyone yet. In fact, half of our team don't even know. But really proud to be able to launch that for this year. 24-hour access to the gym as well. We know that based on previous years, a lot of our participants were signing up to gyms whilst they were out there. Good news is you don't have to do that because you'll have access to this one included in your rent whilst you're there. You can see the sun deck as well. And then down here is where you have your breakfast in the morning. Like I said, hot breakfast, but there's also yogurts, fruits, things like that. And then just in here at the bottom, you can see the kind of social area. That's not the exclusive room that we have access to. This is just the standard one. But yeah, we're very excited to be able to launch this for this year. Perfect. And then the rooms, just to give you an idea of what they look like. So like I mentioned, 3 per room. So you can see the 2 double beds over here, and then the sofa bed pulls out. We do not tell students who's going into which beds or who's going into the sofa bed. It's really up to you guys to decide that. If you are going out there with other people that you know, or if you get to know people during the process and you want to share with them, you're more than welcome to make that request, and we will always do our best to honour that. And then it's up to you guys how you manage that. There is housekeeping included in your rent as well, again, standard hotel. And they will come in and clean the rooms for you. They'll replenish your towels, all of that sort of stuff. But really it's up to you guys to maintain that area, keep it clean. We will give guidance, and we are there to kind of step in if there's one roommate who's not pulling their weight and you've had those discussions yourself. You can call on us, we'll come in and make sure that we're bringing everyone together and understanding. But that's what the rooms look like. Yeah, we're excited. Good, so eligibility. I'll not waste too much time going through this because the fact you guys are studying here, you are all eligible for the programme. We just ask that you're over the age of 18, studying towards your degree, and then available for the duration of the programme time. English, we get that question a lot, obviously, being from a Spanish-speaking country. Please don't worry too much about it. We don't have to go through any certifications or things like that. We'll talk to you during the interview process. And if you have any questions about your level, please just let us know. Our goal is that we want to be able to support you, but we don't want to put you in a position where you're going out there if you're really struggling with the language, just because you'll be working with a lot of different chemicals and things while you're out there. So we want to make sure that you're safe and secure first and foremost. So please don't worry too much about it. We have participants from all across the world that go on our different programs, and it's always the main question that comes up. You will learn a lot whilst you're there, and my Spanish is improving slightly, but I find when I'm in the location, I find it a lot easier to get confident with it. So similarly, I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about your experience with going out in the program.
I'm going to talk about something else.
Yeah.
Sí, o sea, también parte de la experiencia es que van bueno, no aprender de cero, pero a hablar inglés. O sea, siempre cuento, no es que esté muy orgullosa, pero da risa. Cuando yo fui a una escuela bilingüe, entonces según yo hablaba muy bien inglés. Y cuando me fui la primera vez a Orlando, que fue mi primera experiencia en inglés, así de vivir, trabajaba en un hotel que está en el área de guest services, que es donde contestan los teléfonos y todos los... Y pues en un hotel en Disney, ¿saben? La cantidad de hacer un centro telefónico. Y a mí me capacitó una persona de Escocia con un acento que no entendía nada. Entonces vamos a empezar por ahí, ya íbamos mal. Y obviamente aprendes inglés en las clases muy formal, o sea, llegas tú con tu inglés así, que a lo mejor había ido de vacaciones a algún lado y ya había hablado inglés, pero nunca había vivido en inglés. Y cuando me dejan sola después de la capacitación, hablaban, no les miento, en todas partes del mundo, en todos los acentos que te puedan imaginar. En mis primeros días, entre el nervio y entre que no sabía qué tenía que hacer porque no la había entendido a la otra chava, contestaba y cuando no entendía colgaba. Y como era un centro de, así como que te cortaba la llamada, como era un centro de, o sea, telefónico, y volvían a llamar y alguien más contestaba. Y así aprendí. Es parte es parte del proceso. O sea, obviamente hoy en día, bueno, les comenté a algunos que vivo en Escocia, hablo en inglés, trabajo en inglés, pero es parte del proceso. O sea, nuestros cerebros no es lo mismo. Y es muy válido hablar 2 o más idiomas. Y algo que a mí cuando estaba en México no lo apreciaba era el acento, o sea, el hablar con acento en otro idioma y era como, qué pena. Y hoy lo valoro mucho porque eso quiere decir que hablo más de mi propio idioma, entonces te pueden haber ciertas diferencias, ¿no? Y nada es más bonito que oír a una persona de otro país hablar otro idioma. Entonces, la verdad, suéltense, o sea, es parte del proceso. Y algo que decía Sander antes es las fechas, chequenlas también con sus coordinadores o directores, no sé específicamente qué área tengan que verla. Si tienen alguna duda pueden comunicarse con él o con nosotros y también ver qué flexibilidades podemos tener con la universidad. Vale.
I was just going to say as well, if you can understand me, you'll be absolutely fine. Please, yeah, that's all good, right? So yeah, no, it's a huge advantage that you can speak multiple languages. As you can imagine, in Orlando and particularly at the theme parks at Universal, you will come into contact with people who are all across Latin America, people from Spain. So it's a huge advantage to be able to communicate, not just in English, but also using your Spanish as well, and any other languages, right, that you speak. Perfect. Good. So, the cost for the program, I'll only just explain this one in Spanish, just so we can kind of get a full understanding of that.
Sí, como Mark decía antes, no hay costo por aplicación, entonces pueden ir por todo el proceso. De hecho, sí pueden aplicar de una vez porque las primeras entrevistas finales con Universal son la siguiente semana, entonces podrían todavía entrar a ese bache. Si no, tendrían que esperar un tiempo, no sé cuánto. Do you know when is the second batch for Universal?
Of interviews?
Yeah.
Not yet, no.
Okay.
No, I'll be in a few weeks. So we want to make sure that when we're doing it, the worst thing for us is to have everybody sweating over getting your visa and having everything done in time. So our goal is to try and get through this stage as quickly as possible so that you guys have your visa in your hand with plenty of time to say your goodbyes, have your parties before you arrive into the US.
Entonces, y al no haber costo, literalmente no hay costo, pueden aplicar sin ningún problema, pueden tener las entrevistas sin ningún costo, y el costo llega cuando ustedes firman su contrato. O sea, literalmente antes no tienen que pagar absolutamente nada. Entonces, esa es una ventaja porque no se tienen que comprometer a nada y pueden preguntar todo lo que quieran, tanto a nosotros como a Universal. El costo del programa es de $2,150. Eso les incluye su visa, su seguro médico, 24/7 de su visa sponsor. Y bueno, obviamente nosotros, como les dice Mark, hay alguien de Yo Mi Job siempre en Orlando, nosotros los recibimos, los llevamos al banco, al Seguridad Social, etc. Lo que no incluye es su service fee, que es un número que les da la embajada como para que puedan sacar todos esos documentos en Estados Unidos, que cuesta $35. Y la visa la embajada les cobra por literalmente irse a sentar a hacer la entrevista. Son $185. Esos dos se pagan directo en la embajada y bueno, nosotros los guiamos a hacer ese proceso, no se angustien. Y bueno, los vuelos. Ahora, Mark comentaba lo del housing. El housing pueden decidir pagar por anticipación, más o menos es entre $1,300 y $1,400. Y si pagan eso, entonces el costo de su semana baja, obviamente. Pero si prefieren pagarlo directo todo de su sueldo, no tienen que pagar el depósito completo. Algo que se me olvidaba. Al fin. El seguro médico. Me preguntan muchísimo, tanto los de 6 meses, un año en verano. El seguro médico sí es obligatorio. Sé que nosotros los mexicanos es muy fácil extenderlo para Estados Unidos, pero lo que pasa es que este seguro se los da la visa. Aparte de que legalmente el verano tiene que llevar un seguro médico, en caso de que haya alguna emergencia, si llevan su seguro personal, el visa sponsor no les va a poder ayudar porque no va a saber a dónde enviarlos. Entonces, hemos tenido casos, sobre todo en los de un año, semestres que están trabajando en gastronomía, sobre todo con los gastros, son los que más accidentes tenemos. Nada grave, pero se han quemado, cosas así, entonces automáticamente no necesitan. En lo que nosotros contactamos a la universidad y todo eso, ellos ya están más que solucionados por el visa sponsor. Entonces, en caso de que les pase algo, nunca pasó nada grave, pero en caso de que pase algo, es muy rápido el resolverlo con el visa sponsor, les llaman el de 24/7, y mientras nosotros avisamos a todos de este lado, ustedes ya están atendidos, por decirlo. Si llevan el personal, pues habrá que hablarle a sus papás, que lo investiguen, o quienes haya, o ustedes mismos investigar, se hace más rollo, y la verdad es que tienen que ir protegidos. O sea, no queremos arriesgarlos. No sé si tengan alguna duda de costos o algo. No sé si en internet tampoco tengan una duda. No.
I would say as well, one of the things we're really proud of at Yummy Jobs is we're very transparent about the process, right? There's no getting away with, these programs can be expensive, particularly for students who are studying full time, right? But we understand that. Our goal is to be able to try and make these programs as accessible as possible. So when you're looking at that program fee, what we can do is we can split that into payments for you prior to your arrival. So, for example, rather than paying all of that in one go, we can split it into 2 or 3 different payments that you can pay before you go. The important thing to know is that we need to pay that fee prior to your arrival in the US. The reason being that we need to pay upfront for your visa, for your medical insurance, and all of that. But if you have any questions about that as we go through the process, you can let us know, because we want to do what we can to be as flexible as we possibly can to be able to make that happen for you. There's no hidden costs as well. So everything that you see on that screen is all you're responsible for. And then when you're on the program, you'll be earning your money. We don't take any of that from you. Universal don't take any of that from you. Everything that you earn is yours. You will pay taxes whilst you're out there, similar to the US, but you don't pay all of the taxes. You'll only pay some of them. And then at the end of your program, you can reclaim some of them as well. We work with a company called Sprintax. They're specialists in helping students like yourself file your taxes and reclaim any money that you might be owed as well at the end of the program. So something just to keep in mind as well, that, whilst you're out there, you will be paying taxes on that $17 an hour, but you'll be able to reclaim them at the end of the tax year, some of them at least.
Digo que, bueno, es un programa corto, o sea, son 3 meses, ¿no? Pero tienen 2 ventajas. Esos 2,150 sí los recuperan. O sea, a lo mejor invierten en lo demás, por decirlo así. O sea, que trabajen solo las 32 horas y no trabajen las completas, las 40. Por 40 son 8 horas diarias, 5 días a la semana, si tienen 2 días libres. Ahora, si agarran las 40 horas, o si no les dan, pero ustedes quieren, hay una facilidad que ustedes pueden tomar los turnos en otras áreas. Entonces, sí, no sé si les asignaron en Harry Potter en el restaurante, pero alguien está dejando un shift en, no sé, Doctor Seuss, no sé, pueden tomar ese, siempre y cuando esté dentro de su reglamento, por decirlo así, pero pueden cambiar sin necesidad de pedir, y son experiencias en otras áreas del parque, ¿no? Esa es una. 2, va a depender de ustedes, o sea, no 100%, pero sí cuánto quieran ganar. O sea, pueden trabajar solo las 32 horas y decir, ya no quiero más. No, van a trabajar al final del día. Entonces, si les asignan las 40, pues van a trabajarlas, ¿no? O a lo mejor quieren dejarlas unas horas. O sea, es cuestión de que ustedes se administren, porque sí pueden regresarse con dinero si son suficientemente inteligentes, que yo creo que sí. Pero si es un programa de la experiencia, en realidad, los que sí te dan 6 meses o un año, pues como podrán imaginarse, sí pueden hacer una buena cantidad de dinero, pero en este programa va a depender de ustedes. También les van a dar los pases a los parques, entonces eso les da acceso a descuentos, etcétera. Luego los hoteles los encuentran por $30, etcétera. Pues son muy buenas oportunidades. Hay opciones también a lo mejor de que puedan darles pases para amigos o familia, no sé cuántos, pero es cuestión de que eso, bueno, se los van a dar en la capacitación, todo eso, pero pueden preguntar directamente, ahora sí que en las entrevistas, sobre todo en Universal. Pero bueno, el acceso a los parques los tienen. También les dan acceso a SeaWorld ahí en Orlando y a Busch Gardens en Tampa, no sé si han oído eso, pero pueden entrar esos dos. Hasta el momento, pero todo puede cambiar. No tienen acceso al Epic Universe, que es el nuevo. Posiblemente les den un acceso especial como empleados antes de que lo abran o como recién abierto. Es lo que normalmente pasa. Estamos suponiendo que va a pasar esto, pero no les quiero prometer nada, pero seguramente pueden encontrar boletos muy baratos como empleados. Entonces, eso es una ventaja. No sé si tienen alguna duda de eso, programa de pagos, etcétera. Depende de cómo ustedes se vayan acomodando con nosotros. Y si no hay ninguna pregunta, los dejo con un videito al final de una chava que hizo ya no este verano, el año pasado, el programa. Ella es de Inglaterra y bueno, es un programa más bien chiquito. Trabajó en Volcano Bay. Entonces,
Yo tengo una pregunta acerca del pago. ¿Se paga semanalmente o cada quincena o
o sea, ¿ellos les pagan o el programa de pagos para el programa?
pues para los que trabajan ahí cuando
It's
reciben?
weekly, right?
Yeah, with the pay whilst you're at Universal, yeah. Every Thursday or Friday, I believe it is. Yeah.
Y nos acomodamos, el hospedaje se acomoda a que ustedes tienen que pagar el hospedaje después de que les paguen. Entonces, para que no tengan ningún problema de nada de eso. De nada.
So this is a quick video that we've got. I've explained it, sorry. I told you my Spanish is good. It's not as good as I think. This is Diana that was on the summer program last year in the UK.
Parece mucho, pero se pasa muy rápido. Cuando nosotros estábamos en el programa en Swan and Dolphin, el hotel no te da pases porque es Marriott, no te da pases a ningún parque, entonces compramos todos los pases. Pases anuales para todos los parques en Universal. Y Mark me arrastraba en las mañanas antes de ir a trabajar o después de ir a trabajar a algún parque, right? We used to go to the park before or afterward.
Every day.
Y al
Yeah.
principio nos decían, están locos, qué ganas de cansarse. Y cuando terminamos el programa, Tom se arrepintió de no haber ido a los parques tanto. Sí, es la oportunidad, o sea, como siempre digo, son oportunidades que las universidades les dan. Está abierto a todas las universidades en México, o sea, si tienen amigos de otras universidades, está abierto, pero no todas las universidades lo promocionan, entonces es una gran ventaja que la Salle nos dé la oportunidad de traerles esta oportunidad. Sí, creo que lo pusimos dos. Bueno, esto más o menos es su currículum. Obviamente ya hablamos de los amigos que pueden hacer, el networking. Si tienen alguna duda con su currículum, etcétera, no se preocupen, me pueden mandar un email. Creo que todos tienen mi tarjeta. Y si no la tienen, ahí están y yo se las doy sin ningún problema. Pero lo importante es que ustedes disfruten la experiencia. Al final de su verano, ya sé que Sander me va a matar, tienen que regresar a la universidad, pero tienen acceso a 30 días de viaje. Entonces, si están en su último año, por ejemplo, también si no se pueden ir este año y el año que entra se gradúan en verano, o sea, en mayo supongo que es más o menos las graduaciones, se pueden ir también. O sea, recién graduados se pueden ir, siempre y cuando se vayan el año en que se gradúan. Y mucha gente que hace eso se puede quedar los 30 días a gastar todo lo que ganó e irse de vacaciones, pero tienen 30 días para viajar dentro de Estados Unidos. Mientras no sea crucero, Canadá o México, pueden irse hasta Hawái. Creo que el siguiente es eso de los 30 días. Creo que, bueno, les hablo un poco del proceso. El proceso es, me pueden mandar un email o aplicar directo a la página con el código QR. Se les daría una entrevista en inglés el equipo de Yomi Jobs. Solo es para saber su nivel de inglés, cómo se sienten, etcétera, qué es lo que están buscando en el programa. Mandamos el currículum a Universal para que les agenden la entrevista. Una vez que se les agenda la entrevista y la tienen y todos están contentos con el programa, o sea, mutuamente, no solo ellos y ustedes, firman su contrato y se les manda, como les decía, el invoice y se puede hablar de los programas de pagos. Cuando ya, ahora sí que cuando se empieza el pago, etcétera, es cuando empezamos el proceso de la visa. Suena muy estresante la parte de la visa, no se preocupen, nosotros los llevamos por todo el proceso. Lo único que van a tener que hacer ustedes mismos es hacer la cita, que se les va a mandar las instrucciones de cómo hacerlo, etcétera, y presentarse a la embajada y subirse al avión. Y todo lo demás nosotros los guiamos en eso. ¿Va? El equipo, creo que la siguiente está el equipo. El equipo de verano, bueno, yo no soy del equipo de verano, pero soy la que encargada con las relaciones de las universidades de México. El equipo de verano son los otros tres, que son los que, sobre todo Kirsty, que es la que más nos estaría contactando, Mark, que está en todo, y Lucian es más bien la parte de la visa. Entonces, sería más o menos el equipo que los estaría contactando.